Today we are discussing the topic that is proof of the theorems. So here consider a conditional mathematical proposition. Consider a conditional mathematical proposition that is of the form P implies Q. Consider a conditional mathematical proposition P implies Q where P and Q are the simple or compound propositions. Where P and Q are the simple or compound propositions. Those involve simple and compound propositions involving a quantifiers. These propositions, either simple or compound propositions, those who are involving the quantifiers are called the theorems. So those involving the quantifiers are called the theorems. So here the conditional mathematical proposition which is of the form P implies Q. Both P and Q are the either a simple or compound propositions. Suppose those simple or compound propositions, if they involves the quantifiers, those are called the theorems. So that is the meaning of the theorem. Suppose the given conditional, so such a kinds of the conditionals, the process of establishing this kind of the conditional is true. To prove that this kind of the conditional is true using the laws of logic is known as a proof of theorems. The process of establishing that the conditional is true using the rules or laws of logic is known as a proof of theorems. These kinds of such a conditional propositions, these kinds of propositions to prove the or establishing the conditional is true by the help of the rules or laws of logic. To prove thus these kinds of conditional, that procedure is called the proof of the theorem. The process of establishing that conditional is false is known as disproof. Proof means the process of establishing these kinds of the conditional propositions is true using the rules or laws of logics is known as proof of the theorems. The process of establishing that the conditional is false is known as disproof. The process of establishing conditional is true is known as a proof of theorems by using the rules or laws of the logic. Same as it is, the process of establishing the conditional is false is known as disproof of the theorem. So there is mainly three methods of proof. To prove this, there will be the three methods of establishing the proof. Methods of establishing the proof. Methods of establishing the proof. So first method is direct proof. So what is the direct proof? So here in the direct method, this constitutes the mainly three steps. In the direct proof mainly we have three steps. So what is the first step? The first step is called the hypothesis. First step is hypothesis. Hypothesis step means first assume that P is a true. Why we have considering a P means we have given conditional proposition which is of the form P implies Q. So to prove the theorem by establishing the methods will be prove the conditional is true. So in that the first method is the direct proof. In the direct proof, the first step is hypothesis. In the method of hypothesis, first we have to assume that a P is true. Once we assumed the P is true, next step will be analysis. We have to analyze. Once a P is true, now we have to start with this given hypothesis. We have to start with the hypothesis and employing the rules or laws of a logic, and then we have to apply the rules or laws of logic to prove that Q is a true. Means we have to work out that Q is a true. Starting with the hypothesis and employing rules or laws of logic and work out that Q is true. Once a Q is true and we assumed P is also true. If P is true, Q is also true. Once we proved that the Q is true, then automatically P implies Q is also true. And then we give the conclusion. So our conclusion is P implies Q is true. So first method is direct proof. In the method of the direct proof, first we have to consider that for the given conditional, first we have to assume or hypothesis that we have to assume that P is true. When we assume that the P is true, then we have to work out on the analysis. Analysis means by considering with the hypothesis, means starting with the hypothesis, and we have to apply or employing the rules or laws of logic, and we work out that Q is true. Means we have to try to prove that Q is true with the help of the rules or laws of the logics. Once we prove that the Q is true, then it is clear that a conditional is true. We already know the rule of condition, that is, it will be false only under the condition if P is the true, Q is a false. Means only when there is a chance of Q is false, then only this conditional is false. Suppose the Q is a true, whatever the value may be, either 0 or 1, means either a true or false, conditional is always true. Means once we proved that Q is true, then it is clear that our conditional or our given statement is true. And then we conclude that P implies Q is true. That is the direct proof. Next I am moving to the second one, that is indirect proof. So what is the indirect proof? Indirect proof means we know that a conditional P implies Q. For the given conditional P implies Q, we know the contrapositive of the P implies Q. Its contrapositive is negation of Q implies negation of P. is the contrapositive of the given conditionals. These two are logically equivalent, and we know that these are logically equivalent. Logically equivalent. Therefore, to prove P implies Q is a true. To prove that P implies Q is a true, we have to prove that negation of Q implies negation of P is true. Negation of Q implies negation of P is true. So in the indirect method, for the given conditional P implies Q, we have to know that the contrapositive of the conditionals are equivalent, means P implies Q is equivalent to negation of Q implies negation of P. So that it is, if we prove that negation of Q implies negation of P is true, then automatically P implies Q is also true. Therefore, to prove that P implies Q is true, we have to prove that negation of Q implies negation of P is true. Once we prove that the negation of Q implies negation of P is true, then we can conclude that the given conditional P implies Q is true. That is method of solving the indirect methods. That is indirect method of solving the given conditional. So our third method will be proof by the contradiction. Proof by the contradiction. Proof by the contradiction. So what is the proof by the contradiction? Here also the first step is hypothesis. So in the hypothesis, assume P implies Q is false. In the method of the contradiction, first we have to assume that P implies Q is false. That is we assume P is a true and Q is a false. P is a true, Q is a false. After assuming that P is a true and Q is a false, next procedure is analysis. Next procedure is analysis. In the method of the analysis, starting with the hypothesis. Starting with the hypothesis. Starting with the hypothesis and employing the rules or laws of logic. And work out that Q is work out that P is false. P is false. This contradicts that P is true. And we conclude that P implies Q is true. Means in this step, first we assume that P implies Q is false. P implies Q is false, that means P is a true, Q is a false. After assuming the P is a true and Q is a false, we have to start with the given hypothesis and we have to apply the rules and laws of logic to prove that P is false. We assumed that P is a true, but we are going to try to prove that P is false. Once we prove that P is a false, that contradicts our assumption. Our assumption is P is true, but we have proved that P is a false. Means this indicates contradictions that P is a true. So and then once the P is a, our assumption is P is true and we have proved that P is a false. That is the method of the contradictions. Once P is false, Q is also false. Q is either a false or true. P implies Q. We have proved that P is a false. Once P is false, either a Q is true or false. That indicates P implies Q is true. Therefore, once we prove that a P is a false, that contradicts that a P is a true, and we conclude that P implies Q is true. Fourth one is proof by exhaustion. Proof by exhaustion. We know that a proposition which is of the form for all x belongs to S comma P of x is true if P of x is true for every x in S. For every x in S. Suppose if S consists of only a limited number of elements, we can prove that the statement for all x belongs to S comma P of x is true by considering P of A for each A in S and verifying that P of A is true. Means in this method, suppose we have a proposition which is of the form for all x belongs to S comma P of x. Suppose we know that the proposition is true, means that indicates the P of x will be true for every value of x that belongs to S. Suppose if f consists of only a limited number of elements, for example, like suppose S having like 1, 2, 3, 4, so on, 8. Suppose there is a limited number of elements, countable number of elements. Suppose there is a limited number of elements, we can prove that the statement is true by considering a P of A for every value of elements in S, for each A in S, and we verify that P of A is true. Means P of 1 is true, P of 2 is true, so on, P of 8 is true. Suppose there is a limited number of elements, we can verify that P of A is true for every value of A in S, and we can say that the given proposition is true. In this method also we can prove the theorem. That is the fourth method. So in the proof of theorems, for the given proposition P implies Q, where the P and Q are also including the quantifiers, such a statements will be called the theorems. So the process of establishing the conditional is true is called the proof of the theorems. The process of establishing the conditional is false is called the disproof. And there will be the three procedures for the proofs or the methods of establishing the proofs. For the given conditional P implies Q.